I've got a heavy question to ask you now. And
Okay.
were you involved in the Reeves versus WCW racial discrimination lawsuit?
No, I wasn't. I mean, I knew about it. You know, one of my friends was the lawyer, but I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Because I know your name comes in the court documents at one point. Do you think it was a valid lawsuit to take out against WCW at the time?
At the time, man, you know, I don't like to talk about it, but at the time, it was some things that happened to me that I did have to testify about, you know, because they called me and they said some things. You know what, man? It's just like in the business. You got good people that you work with. You have bad people. I'm gonna tell you one of the situations that I had
Okay.
at that time. I remember that we was in Chicago. We was in Chicago, and they needed the crowd to be loud, and they needed. We were going to commercial. They came and said, "Hey, Cat, we need the crowd to be loud when we come back in." So Disco Inferno had told this guy, say, "Hey, man, you should hear the Cat talk in the locker room. He talk a lot of smack. Man, we can get him to do that on TV. He's going to be good." So anyway, this guy walked up to me, didn't know anything about me. He was top booker. And he said, "Hey, Ernest, get the mic." I said, "What?" He said, "Go out and get the crowd going." I said, "What do you want me to say?" He said, "Just do what you do in the locker room." So I was so nervous because I didn't know what they wanted. I didn't understand the position that we was in when they said we need a hot crowd when we come back from commercial. I didn't know that. So he just, and I was so nervous, but right before he told me it was time to go out, I was standing up with the mic in my hand, and I remember I said a little prayer. I said, "God, listen, you put me in this position for a reason. If I can't do it, I wouldn't be here. So help me get through this." And I remember going to the ring, and the first thing came to mind, things that was in my head from a long time ago that I saw on TV. And the first thing I thought, I got something to say. And nobody, they just talking over me. So, excuse me, real low. Then they kept talking, crowd kept talking. Then I said, "Hey, shut up and sit your asses down." And the crowd popped. They started to listen to me. Then I started to talk about people around Chicago, people in front of me, started having a good time. And the crowd was cheering. They were cheering, yeah, yeah, and laughing. So when I came back through the curtains, that same guy approached me. And I was smiling because I felt good about what I just did, you know, the segment. But he looked at me, he was like, "Man, that was good for a black guy to be able to do a white crowd like this. That was good." He said, "You know, you can be great. You can be good at this if I let you." And I said, "What do you mean if you let me?" He said, "If I want you to be good and get over, you'll be good at this." And the only thing I said to myself, and he said the N word. He said, "You'll be good at this." He was like, "Not too many niggas make it like this." And that's the word he used. So I looked at this guy and I thought about this. Should I kick his head off his shoulders? Or should I just don't buy into what he's doing? Because the one person I was thinking about, if I did that, I would embarrass the guy who brought me in. And that was Eric Bischoff. Mm-hmm. So I looked at him and said, "Bro, listen, you can't stop me. I got somebody bigger on my side," and I wasn't talking about Eric. And I walked away. So, you know, it was a couple other times, man, to where we were going. I was one of the highest rating guys up there at that time. I was over. I thought I was making good ratings. They would put me all over the place. But we went to this particular city, and this guy came up to me and said, "Listen, I got there Monday night and I wasn't on the show." So I said, "Why am I not on the show tonight?" He said, "Well, we call this Black Boys Night Off." I said, "Black Boys Night Off? What is that?" He said, "We give the black guys the night off because the guys in this town, people in this town don't buy T-shirt merchandise for blacks. That's a damn lie. So anyway, I went to Eric and I asked Eric, I said, I'm not on the show. He said, oh, you're not on the show? He said, all right, I'll get you on the show. So he went to them and told them to put me on the show. And they put me on the show and it won the best segment around. It was in San Antonio when I got into it with some guy with a cowboy hat on. You know, so, I mean, it was a lot of racist things going on and control things that was not in the business, but it was part of the business. You know, you expect the crowd to do that, but you never expect somebody in the back that you travel with all the time to feel that way.
I'm gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna take the camera off me. I'm gonna say a name, and you just say if it's yes or no. So I'm gonna do it now.
Okay.
Am I right? Okay. And for some reason, a fireworks display has just happened on your screen there. So it's just, that has timed it so perfectly. It's unbelievable. I don't even know what happened.
Bro. But let me tell you this part of it. Him and I later became like real good friends. And he apologized for a lot of it. I don't know if he was going through something, but he apologized. And he even said, I'm sorry for some of the stuff I said and did. And I think it's when his wife got cancer or something happened in his life that he supposed to became a Christian. He apologized.